Hello and welcome to this short video. In this video, I would like to go over 3 questions that I'm regularly asked. And the first one, what's the difference between healthy eating and using food as medicine, which is what we do in the Health Reset system? What's the 6, there's 6 steps to self-healing. What are the 6 root causes of disease that are causing your symptoms? And is it risky to participate in this type of program if you're already very sick? And so before we begin, just to give a little bit of context to the conversation, remember that in the pharmaceutical model, you'll often be experiencing a very black or white perspective where you're either healthy or you are diseased. So for instance, you might have lots of symptoms, you could have all types of displays of suboptimal health, but when they run your blood tests, if they can't find disease, which is right down here, they'll tell you you're okay. And what that is it's because the NHS and the pharmaceutical model of care is a disease care model. If you have markers for disease, then you will be treated with pharmaceuticals. If you don't have those markers, you'll be told you're healthy. Now, you'll know from hopefully your own experience that that just isn't true, that health is on a continuum. And if you imagine optimal health over here, where you're completely symptom-free at this end of the scale, and disease down here, you'll recognize that actually disease and symptoms unfold gradually. And even though they can sort of spring up and become exacerbated very acutely or short term, the actual unraveling of health happens gradually over time. And we're actually conditioned in our society to call this, aging or, naturally occurring degenerative disease, when it's not. You're designed to thrive, you're designed to self-heal. And often when you come to see me, you're down here. You may not be showing these severe disease markers, often you are, but sometimes you're not. And so you come to see me because you have all the signs without the full-blown pathology. And when we're looking at the ensuing conversation, I want you to bear in mind that everything's on a spectrum. Okay, it's not black and white. And as we talk about your health and symptoms, etc., and the underlying causes, often we want to remember that these things will decline or become obstructed in their optimal function gradually. Okay, so that's the first thing. And so the disease care model is very black and white. You're either diseased with disease pathology or you're okay, they tell you. And so that has led many of my clients to the experience of leaving their GP's office feeling very frustrated. They're not being listened to because they know they don't feel optimal. They know they're not healthy, but because they're not showing the disease markers looked for in the bloods, they're told they're okay. And so the other issue with the pharmaceutical model of health and the disease is that the focus is on the symptoms. So think about your symptoms for a moment. And now I want you just to consider and think of them in terms of them being the tip of the iceberg. So they are what you see, they're what you feel, they're what you're experiencing. They're visible to the naked eye, or they're so clearly displayed, they may not be visible like a skin issue, but you're experiencing pain or discomfort on some level. And so your symptoms are like the tip of an iceberg. And the pharmaceutical model teaches you to see symptoms as something that is wrong, that are bad, that should be eliminated. Okay. And we can say that that's the case because the pharmaceutical approach is designed, and it's very effective, to suppress the symptom. And the problem with suppressing the symptom is that it often pushes the disease process deeper into the body. So for instance, if you have eczema and you use steroid creams, you may get rid of the eczema temporarily, but you're pushing the root cause, the disease, deeper into the body. And when people have topical steroid withdrawal, they are coming off the cream and all of those root issues that haven't been addressed resurface, and their skin explodes, often much worse than when they went in with the original problem. So we're going to, part of the approach that we use in the health research system is to get you to take your attention off the tip of the iceberg, the effect, and to begin to assess, which is our first protocol, to assess the root cause. And in 18 years of practice, we found that there are six root cause aspects or underlying causes of all disease. And so when we look and we assess the root cause, we're going to cover today the 6 underlying causes of disease today, so that you understand what you're really doing when you're looking at using nutritional or herbal protocols to heal yourself. So this hopefully will give you a template and the roots of a framework that you can begin to work with. And so on that note, we define symptoms as a communication that your body needs a new attitude, action, or input to generate a new result. And so rather than suppressing symptoms, we actually encourage you to understand what the symptom means, what organ it's related to, and what system it's related to, so that in the future, should you ever go out of balance, you'll know exactly how to rebalance yourself by the herbs you use and the food you use to rebalance an organ or a system, which is what you learn in the process. And so the 6 underlying causes of disease, what are they? The first one, the most well-known one, is nutritional deficiency. And most people think of that in terms of, the absence of a food or food group from your diet. In practice, what we've seen is most people have the nutrients in their diet and are very aware of the importance of healthy eating. But actually, faulty digestion, absorption, assimilation, or utilization causes massive nutritional deficiency in our clients. So we can assess it, but from a much broader perspective. We're not just looking for the presence or absence of nutrients in your diet. We're looking for the way your body digests, absorbs, assimilates, and utilizes those nutrients. So for instance, we have many clients who are vitamin D deficient, and they take vitamin D capsules, or their iron, they have anemia, and they've been on iron tablets for years and years and years. And so these clients for us are proof that it's not the presence or absence of that nutrient in your diet necessarily, it's the way your body utilizes it, digests it, absorbs it, and assimilates it. And that is a very different function, which we cover at stage 1. And a second underlying cause of disease that is cause or can cause your symptoms is faulty elimination. The elimination of waste is so important that Mother Nature gave you at least 4 systems of elimination: the bowels, the liver, the kidneys, and the lungs. And on this list here on the right, you'll see the bowels, the gut, the liver, the kidneys, the lymphatic system, that's the sewage system that drains every single of the trillion cells in your body, the lungs, and the skin. And even though we've listed the lungs and the skin, typically they are not major systems of elimination. The major systems of elimination are your bowels, your liver, and your kidneys. And when those systems become exhausted, you exhibit symptoms on your lungs or skin, which is where our atopic clients come from, which are people prone to eczemas and asthmas. And so we assess in your initial assessment the function of your bowels, your liver, your kidneys, your lymphatics, and the lungs and skin, because this is an underlying root cause of disease, the faulty elimination of waste. And so an example of a waste elimination that's faulty is this can then lead to the bioaccumulation, which is the third underlying cause of all disease. This can lead to a bioaccumulation of something called heavy metals. And why, of all the different noxious and toxic substances that are poisonous to living organisms, why heavy metals? Well, we humans thrive on ions, which are types of electrons that come from minerals. And minerals come in 2 forms. They're either organic or they're non-organic. Organic minerals are bioavailable and can be utilized by the body, like for instance, calcium from spinach. And non-organic minerals would be something like calcium from chalk. And a non-organic mineral encompasses heavy metals. They are the poisonous metals or minerals that are found in our environment that build up in the human body and disrupt the function of every single cell in your body. And remember that whether you have adrenal issue, thyroid issue, skin issue, whatever organ or system you have an issue in, these organs and systems are just a collection of cells operating together. And so the bioaccumulation of heavy metals and non-organic minerals and matter in the human body is a massive cause of disease. But you can't deal with this aspect until you've dealt with the other two aspects, in my experience. Like, you can't effectively deal with this aspect. And actually, it can be very dangerous to try and deal with this aspect because the body wants to preserve you and protect you from poison. And so it will store these poisonous inorganic minerals and matter in deep within the tissues, and to release it can be very harmful to the body. So we follow a series of steps to prepare you for the removal of these dead matter, basically. The fourth underlying cause of all disease is a faulty nervous system and immune system. And so, to keep it very brief, your nervous system is the way that is basically connected to your stress response and the way that you interpret your environment, the parasympathetic, sympathetic. And it's, in a nutshell, your electrical and biochemical system. And the immune system is, of course, the way that you respond to your environment. Is this a friend or a foe? And the nervous system is like the master computer. It's connected to your brain. It's the master computer of the body. And if you have faulty programs in there, you are not going to be compatible with your environment. And a faulty program would be something like, walking in nature and reacting to pollen. Pollen is harmless. It's made up of vitamin C, zinc, potassium, and other micronutrients, minerals, etc. It's a harmless, naturally occurring substance. What happens is your master computer in the nervous system creates a program that says that that item's harmful when it's not, for millions of other people. It then responds on a physiological level, the immune system, with a reaction of immune factors that creates an allergy response. And this is huge. And it's huge on whether you have profound allergy and intolerance that's really obvious like that, or if you have it on a more subtle level. And we define allergy and intolerance as anything that causes a block in the function of your body, organ, or system. So an acute allergy reaction would be like an anaphylactic shock, which blocks the airways. But on a more subtle scale, you might be sensitive to dairy. You don't really get on with dairy. You don't absorb the calcium from dairy, and there's a block in your calcium utilization. That's one example. Or another example is that you don't really get on with gluten so well. It's not anaphylactic or allergy, like it doesn't cause a block in the airways, etc. But on a subtler scale, it blocks the function of the thyroid and causes all sorts of symptoms that relate to thyroid. And so similarly, an item can block the liver, it can block the heart function, it can block any system or organ. And an allergy in our holistic model is defined as anything that causes a block in the system. And the root cause is not the item, it's your nervous system and immune system creating faulty programs. And so number 4, and they're all equally paramount to your health, and I'm explaining them in a very linear way, and obviously they interlap and overlap, and they're not linear, but I'm trying to explain them in a linear format for you so it makes more sense. And the 4th factor is the nervous system and immune system. And finally, the 5th factor, root cause of all disease, is your microbiome, which is what has most airwaves at the moment. And we know that to be your good bacteria, your not so good bacteria. But it also encompasses your fungus, mold, and yeast screen, your viral levels and parasite levels. And again, this is a huge area of science on its own merit. But we found that from years and years of working with different people, that if we do things in a certain step-by-step order, the microbiome becomes favorable to you, the host, when you address other factors first. So we address the other factors predominantly first. So we clean up the terrain. So for instance, bacteria, fungus, mold, and yeast and parasites, they thrive on dead matter and dead waste. And we use the analogy of like the home, where if you go around and collect all the waste in your home, banana skins and orange peel and that type of thing, and you put it into a waste paper basket, and that's phase one of detoxification. You collect all the rubbish in your home. If you don't take that rubbish out of the body, which is the other 4 phases, that waste bucket will attract flies, maggots, etc. It will attract the pathogen that thrives on that waste. And similarly, in the human body, when there is too much waste accumulation, when there is nutritional deficiency, when there's the bioaccumulation of toxicity and heavy metals in the body, when the nervous system's reacting and the immune system's reacting to harmless items as poisonous, that's then treated as a toxic substance. This becomes a feeding frenzy for pathogens, and pathogens then produce their own toxic waste. And so you get trapped into a feedback loop where your body finds it very hard to recover from illness because the microbiome has become favorable to the pathogenic guys, and the pathogenic guys will do everything they can, including producing more toxic waste and byproducts, to maintain an environment that's favorable to them. And so the 5th element that we address and look at as a root cause of all disease is the microbiome, and we assess this in your initial screening. And so the 5th element is your neuroendocrinology, and this is your unique perspective on the world, the way you uniquely process events, and it's the way that the emotional patterns that you experience every day. Are they helping you to thrive, or are they harmful? And even the thinking patterns that you experience on a daily basis, are they conducive to your health and well-being, or are they causing you anxiety and pain? And so I work with so many clients who have hormone imbalance, and that leads to polycystic ovary syndrome, fibroids, acne, skin issues. And hormone imbalance is also a root cause. And it actually comes under more the nervous system and immune system, because it's connected to the stress levels that we experience in the body. But the way that you rebalance hormones is equally to address these other 6 elements. Sorry, that should say number 6, neuroendocrinology, is when you address these other 6 elements, you then nourish, instead of modulating and manipulating hormones, which is another pharmaceutical approach. Oh, you don't have enough estrogen, you've got too much progesterone, let's give you this synthetic hormone. Instead of doing that, you say, well, what glands produce progesterone? What glands produce estrogen? What conflicts or inhibits the production, assimilation, or utilization of these hormones? And you go to the root and address and nourish the underlying organs that produce the hormones. And then you don't have to play God and manipulate hormones. You trust in the healing process that is innate to all living organisms. And by supplying and nourishing the underlying organs and systems, you're able to restore health. And so before I sort of explain how this relates to the health reset and what we do in the health reset, I want to give you a definition of healthy eating. And that means eating a variety of foods that give you nutrients you need to maintain your health. Okay. The difference between healthy eating and using food as medicine is that we show you how to use specific combinations of food, nutritional protocols, and herbs to elicit the healing of each of these organs and systems in a consecutive, systematic order. And we get you to watch the transformation in the symptoms that are associated with each of those organs and systems. And so you witness a gradual repair and healing of your health that has our clients, instead of as they get older, they get more degenerative and having more disease, that every week their health improves, every month their health improves, every year their health improves. And what happens is, of course, your symptoms can be eliminated. They are a symptom of a deeper underlying imbalance. So you address the underlying imbalance. So once you move beyond those correction of those symptoms, what you then experience is improved cognition, improved memory, improved performance, improved stamina, that your health continually improves instead of continually depleting, depreciating, and that very popular word, degenerating. And so, you know, another sort of concern sometimes people have is it, you know, if I'm already sick, is it risky participating in this type of program? And so this is the key. This is the key thing that I want to emphasize right now for everyone who has that concern. What happens when you use nature's principles is you're working with the principle of self-healing. In order for your body to self-heal, you must be strengthened in the process. Now, if you've experienced pharmaceutical medicines like I did with my family being GPs and my own experience of psoriasis, eczema, and beta blockers for anxiety and panic attacks and all the rest, the antidepressants, you'll know, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but think about the pharmaceutical model. Typically, by using pharmaceutical medicines, which are petroleum-based chemicals, synthetic chemicals, you're typically left weaker by the process. Look at the antibiotic. Antibiotic literally means against life. You take antibiotics and it's so difficult to feel like you can reclaim your health, although you can. Typically you're weakened by the process because you're just suppressing symptoms. You're pushing the disease process deeper into the body. And so as you push the disease process deeper into the body, you're invariably weakened. Because we're working with a different principle, the principle of self-healing, that sees a bone fuse itself back together. Because we're working with that principle, the method we use will have you be invariably strengthened because you need more energy to heal. You need strength, vitality, and the proper movement of all of these aspects in order to self-heal. And so, you know, this is exactly why we designed the program the way we have. And so, you know, this is the importance of the root cause assessment. When we do that snapshot of your health, we're able to very quickly pinpoint where the weakness is. And we can then use sort of lab testing like the Dutch test for hormones or the stool test for your gut health to sort of really dig deep in terms of quantitative analysis. But we want to see where is the weakness in the body. And so that's the method we use. We get a snapshot of everything going on and we can quickly see what's going on in terms of the big picture, in terms of how all these systems interrelate. And based on that, we create a personalized protocol. Now, the method we use with the reset is to show you how to reset each of the systems and organs in the step-by-step method, which you'll see in your PDF. And then what we do, so we're using food as medicine, not just healthy eating. It's a very different method. And so we use targeted intervention to heal each of the underlying organs and systems. And then we augment that with a personalized herbal protocol. And the protocol that we use herbally is a bit like turbocharged nutrition. It's designed to strengthen you, but also remove anything that doesn't serve you, because that's the way nature works. It's so incredibly smart and intelligent. It does the job. And so the natural medicine plan is designed to restore the weaknesses in your body. And remember, they're on a continuum. It's not black or white. It's not saying you have disease pathology. It's saying that an organ or system is underperforming, it's underfunctioning. And we systematically repair and restore each of the organs and systems beneath the surface. And so the goal is that you restore health and become symptom-free. Symptom-free completely. And that you then have the understanding, awareness, and knowledge you need to sustain that without restricting your food, without deprivation, without over the top using food as medicine. Because, you know, you can use food as medicine and it's very important, but when we show you how to incorporate neuroendocrinology, which is the way you think and feel and the way you participate and are compatible with your environment, so that you don't give food too much power. It's very important in the healing process, but it has its place and it's not the whole picture. And so our goal is that you're symptom free and that you are ultimately free, that you have freedom to live your life to the full with the knowledge and ability and awareness to maintain that with the nutritional understanding that you develop. And so, down the line, if you get a little sign or symptom, you begin to be able to relate it to an organ or system, and you'll know what foods and herbs to use to heal it. And again, it's not healthy eating. Healthy eating is just eating lots of variety of different foods to supply you with nutrients. And that's just one part of the process. There are, like you've seen, at least 6 root causes of all disease. So I hope that helps you understand the method we use in the program. Your medicine, your natural medicine designed to target the underlying organs and systems that have gone out of balance, are reviewed every 30 days. And so we cover a 90-day period in order to reverse a lifetime of patterns that have then accumulated in whatever you're experiencing right now. So even if you've got an acute disease that's flared up suddenly, you can be sure that what's enabled that has been a weakness beneath the surface. And so as we address that, your body naturally can overcome the challenge that you're experiencing.